anything about that. I haven't had to conquer that myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not difficult. It's just could be a little smoother than it is, and
It's too many steps.
there's a few steps, and you have to like snag the audio on Facebook right away, otherwise you get a weird echo. Okay, so why don't you sit here? I'll get you back to Zoom. Okay, you sit there, and then we'll start recording.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hello.
Hello.
Are you guys ready to go?
Yeah, I'm just
Sure.
gonna my little chat thing.
Go ahead.
Give my little chat thing.
Look at you go getting your little chat thing.
Oh, well, there it is. There it is. Let me get my little musician thing so
I
people
already
can
turned
hear
it
you.
on.
Oh, good. Did you turn on your original sound for musicians, Beth?
I I pressed the button. I hope that that's true.
Okay.
So I did go on beforehand, but
Okay.
we'll see if that's actually real or not.
All right.
And there you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. Oh, it looks like we're live. Yay. Okay, we're going to get right into it, everybody. I'm just going to, no, I don't even have to share it out. There's Jessica. Hi, Jessica. She'll be our seed person today. So I'm really excited to have Beth, and Beth is going to be doing the bulk of it because I did something to my back, and luckily I was able to go to a chiropractor, and Kathleen was able to work with me. So I'm sure that it's just going to all flood in and get better. So Beth, can you tell people about you? If folks know Beth from the Pacific Northwest, but could you tell everybody just a little bit about you, and then we'll start chatting?
Sure. So I've lived in Olympia, Washington for a long time. I actually grew up on the East Coast in New York, upstate New York. And after I found healing, my first journey into it was massage therapy, but then it turned more into how do I very emotionally sensitive person. So I was very affected by everything and not in a good way. So finding things to help me like resonance repatterning and spiritual response technique to clear past lives and crystals and vibrational healing, and just how much that was helpful to me and also didn't leave me laying on the floor usually for a week at a time after I shifted something, which was helpful. And then
Yeah.
and then thankfully I found Mary Beckman because
Ah,
clearing all the things is really great, but then being able to upgrade and keep up with what is happening for us in our light bodies and all those yummy things is something. And so if I didn't have Mary Beckman, I would not be in a great place.
oh my gosh. I tell you, it's all about you now, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's very true because it's just been so amazing to be part of what you have created, and also to be learning it for myself.
Okay.
So I did go on before.
So here's the cool thing. We learned so much about Art of Your Energy this last weekend.
Oh, did you?
You'd think we knew it after 5
Oh,
years.
you mean your recent class?
Yeah, but
Was
I
that
mean,
just last weekend? Holy
I
crap.
know it feels like it was like 5 years ago, but
It does.
you would think that I knew a bunch of stuff about Art of Your Energy, but you're going to be excited about this because I don't think I told you yet
Okay.
because it just happened.
Okay.
Um, I'm really excited about it. I'm just going to interject right here. You guys are going to
Do
have
it.
like 99% Beth and 2%, but I got to tell you this because I'm
That's
just
okay.
so
Please
excited.
share.
So what happened was I was inspired by a healer, and it took me back a few months for looking around to see what we've been doing with the Alta Major and what we've been doing with the nervous system in the classes.
Right.
And we have cards for nervous system, and we did work on it. And this person, who was a Laura, Allora, the whale lady, she was talking about something, and all of a sudden my guide stepped in and went badoom 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 badoom, and they showed me a code combination that does something really huge. So as I'm apt to do, I just think of people about, to write a little list, and I say, hey, can we do that? Oh my gosh, that thing worked. And what it does is it goes back to the original trauma, and it helps a person. So if you just decide where's your number in trauma, your number might be, 7, might be 15, might be 35, might be 80. Well, that
Oh
could be
boy.
a lot.
Yeah.
And if you do this thing, it
Yeah.
has to do with color, has to do with coding, has to do with what you're thinking in your mind. And then, boom, it unlocks. This is the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
And you were the one the other day who said sound and color is really where it's at in this work that we have been doing. And eventually I'll show you guys the cards I pulled. And I'm hoping, Beth, you're okay with maybe doing a little bit of healing for people today, because wow, the energy is really funny. Have you noticed that?
Well, I will tell you in my so the 30 days that suggest people do after the class. So I have the members of my household and 2 other people that I've been doing it on every day. Um,
Uh-huh.
but this morning when I went to do my sun disc, I was on petrified wood. I was up in the stars on some golden flower with bubbles. I was on the ocean. Like I was hopping all over the place. I was a little concerned about what was happening. And then, so to me, yes, the energy is all over the place, like up and down and all over the place. And I kept calling myself into unity and, grounding and all that. But oh my gosh, I don't know exactly how to explain it other than that, but that was pretty crazy.
It does feel crazy. That's why I asked Kathleen, could she take a look at me? She's a great energy healer. And I just worked on myself for days, and I just couldn't get this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of it was physical, but what I got was the outside world is a daisy. It's a big daisy because there's a lot of energy coming in.
Yeah.
But people are holding on to something. They're holding on to something, just will not freaking let go. Holding on to
Oh.
it. And then I look at the collective, same. And then I looked, okay, well, what are we all thinking about? And we're stressing ourselves out because we're paying attention to other people's emotions, not knowing
Mm.
who they are. So I said to my chiropractor today, I said, am I like low level angry at something? I don't know. What is it? Is it no, it turned out not to be that at all. It turned out to be frustration. So I think a lot of people might have frustration right now. I'm not sure. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
can have their own thing. But the fact that it is self recrimination, panic, and self stress, anybody on that can speak to that today? We have a few people on today. I can only see, can't really see you guys over here, and I forget how to do it. So I'm just going to go from my phone. If you guys are feeling certain emotions, we're going to help you in a little bit. But if you could say what it is that's on your mind and how you're feeling, what you're experiencing out there in the big world, we would appreciate that. Um, what do you think about that, Beth?
Um, well, it feels very expansive to me, and that can be confusing sometimes. I was certainly a little confused this morning as I was doing my morning work about where I was and what I was doing and if that was okay. But of course, I was checking in and making sure. But it was really, I think, so. So what I've been drawn to doing with myself since that last. Did we do that in the class? I think we did that in the class. Um, when we got in the river and then we lifted up into our light bodies.
Oh, timelines, yeah, working with timelines.
Timelines. Okay. Um, so everything that my body, it feels like my body, we talked about this the other day, it feels like my body is going back to old information when certain things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's working too hard to translate the changes that are happening through channels that just don't work. Like it just can't happen that way. And so that's, been different things for me in my body. And so what I keep bringing myself back to is I keep asking for everything to come through my light body first, and then for it to, be distributed appropriately to the right places and the right pacing and the color and the frequency and all that. Because when we did the class and the second day, when we did those codes, I didn't get to tell you this. Mary did it very differently in that it was like 2 big breaths and it was all the codes in 2 breaths. And we were on the beach in a line, but all the guides were there, and the guides and the beings that were there with us, they distributed the information to us, and it felt so different, very like specific to the places that you needed it and the timing and the everything, kind of like what I was just saying. It was so amazing. Of course, I had a hangover the next day, like most of us did, because it was a big, beautiful experience. But I keep reiterating, like you do with a new habit, like this needs to come through my light body. My light body is my reference spot. And then checking in and connecting to the unified field and the Taurus, which has also been, wow, that was pretty amazing this morning too. There was like braiding going on in the middle, and there was so many things. There were so many things. Beings. Oh, at one point when I was over the ocean, there was a lot of beings who were leaving the ocean and going up home.
Okay, yeah. So wow, that's a lot.
I know. And
So
it's only 1:00 where I live. So it's been a busy day already, as you can see.
have you noticed, this is one of the things I've noticed, is it feels like I get up really early, and today sadly was 3:30 because our dogs seem like that's a great time to go out and potty. We had a lot of snow yesterday, so one of them just stood there and kind of hung out. He's standing there. But they've done that now 2 days in a row, and I'm not sure exactly why it's been 3:30, but I stayed up for a while at that point, and I noticed that early in the morning to a certain point feels like one day, and then after that feels like a different day. So it feels like, thinking back to what happened in the morning, doesn't feel like the same day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so time is just really odd right now.
Yes.
And I'm sure, these guys and there's Robin. I want to say hi to Robin, my friend from a long time ago. There are some folks on here that are energy healers too. And if you guys are
Nice.
experiencing the same thing that we're talking about, please sing out, because it is an odd time. I kind of gave up putting a finger on what the heck was wrong with me because it was so physical. But I think that doggone moon wakes a lot of people up in their knickers. The people that are more a moon person,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so people had a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Uh, so at Lisa says, feeling all these emotions all over the map today, just like you guys are saying, very big energies, super huge energies. I'm more of a physical sun, and so I'm more like I'm going to feel it here in the body.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are feeling it, in the mind. And as long as we are able to just look at each one, and part of what I've been talking about was eating the light sandwich. So all the light comes in a big old sandwich, we're eating through it, right? Or not. So when I tested people all over the world today, they're not eating their sandwich so much as just getting influenced by everybody else that's having a cow
Mm.
right now. There's a lot of people having a cow right now, and rightly so, because holy moly, has there been some big things popping off, with the folks in California and the people in earthquake areas, and all kinds of different things going on. And so people are just not steady. And so what I did pull today was balance codes through the cards. I'm going to show you guys
Nice.
in a little bit. But so Beth, what do you tell people to do when they're feeling so out of balance?
Well, nature, always nature first, always. No matter how crappy I feel, unless I just can't get off the floor to walk myself out the door, which does happen sometimes. Sometimes I can't get off the floor. Go low, go low, go low. And also,
Pardon me.
I've been studying something called quantum human design, and it's helped me realize that a lot of the emotions that we experience, like frustration, is an emotion for my type. That means I'm on the verge of something big. So it means to just pause and step back. And there is a waiting that people are not comfortable with, and all of us are supposed to wait in certain ways. And so when it feels to me, sometimes those energies, those emotions can feel like I'm going to lose my mind, like it's so intense, just so loud, and just makes you feel like you're out of your skin almost. um, but if I just pause and breathe and sit on the floor and do some acupressure or some meditation, or if I go outside and breathe with the trees, or get in the river. I love getting in the river so much. I just, nature and all of the elementals are so life-saving. And it's such I don't know, it's kind of like, have you ever been to Joshua Tree?
I'd love to go there.
When I
Mm.
went there, I've only been there once. We were there almost all day. But as soon as we drove in there, I just started crying because the way that it felt so good. It's that deep, like mountains and rocks. They have this deep, or old trees. They have this deep wisdom that's so nurturing, and they always are so good at holding us when we feel like crap. I don't know why they do it, but I'm really grateful that they do. Um, so that's trees, nature, water, and then just watching, being patient and watching what are the signs and the symbols, the birds, the clouds, the whatever, the wind. It's all speaking to us. So just to try and be a better listener and get in your body a lot, many times.
Okay. Yeah, so Lisa, we're going to talk about human design because she knows more than me for sure. Like all my guides know, or my guests all know more than me about something, which is awesome. That's why they're here. So I want to say a couple things, then I want to get back to the trees. The funny thing is here I am all the way over this way
Yeah.
and craving to be over there to visit places like Joshua Tree, going to the
Mm-hmm.
on, going to the, Shasta and all that kind of thing. That I'm really craving that. So I'm hoping I'm going to suck up everything in New Mexico in a couple months that is going to give me what I needed over there further.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I'm pretty excited about that. So, hi, Geneva. So Jessica, I want to say something about what's going on with you, really quick. So you're testing a certain way. If you can close your eyes, I'm going to send you a code, and then I'd like you to see if you feel a little bit better. Here comes that code for Jessica. Oh, I'm going to send you two. You're diming yourself out, girl. I might have sent you four. So see how you feel, sweetie, and let me know. Um, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, so I really think that human design thing is fascinating. There's so much to it that I just know my type. I told you, and now I forget. But tell us about that and what you're learning.
It's a lot. I can usually digest things fairly quickly, and this is just a lot. But it's even the small amount that I've learned, like for example, that frustration for me is a sign that I'm going to have a breakthrough if I can wait to
Yeah.
be informed. But that means that someone from, like, that would mean someone calling me up and saying, "Oh, would you like to do a sound healing meditation for us?" That would be what I'm waiting for, as opposed to me going out and trying to make it happen, or trying to make connections. It doesn't mean that I just sit here and don't do anything, but it means that you get to be informed by your outer reality, which is very different. Um, and everybody has different. So some people are supposed to wait like a whole moon cycle. That's not me. I can't. That's a long time. That's a long time to wait. But we don't pause in uncertainty or discomfort very well, and that's where all the juiciest stuff comes from. It's that intensity that just feels like it's too much, and if you just take like one more step or five more steps and you're patient, um, it's pretty amazing.
Well,
And go
that's
ahead.
called that's called being patient when you're frustrated, and humans, that's when their head blows up.
Yes, yeah, but if you can settle into that, so I'm a generator or an alchemist, they call it in the quantum world. The original, I don't know a lot, but what I do know is Ra, who was the originator of human design. He's no longer living. I guess he passed in 2011. But his languaging was more about you look at the chart and you see, because it's a body graph of chakras, but all contained within the body. And so there's what they call defined centers and undefined centers with gates that relate to the I Ching. But they're so for each, if you look at the whole mandala as it relates to like a planet, you have so much detail. There's lines, there's colors, there's all these details, as opposed to you're just this sign and this is your rising and that kind of stuff. So it gives you a lot more intricate information about your blueprint and how to use it to your advantage and where you may be kind of sucking at it, as you like to say. So you may be at the lower vibration of that and you know, hitting yourself over the head all the time, which was me a lot of my life, working really hard to do the right things, but it was always so much hard work because I wasn't approaching it in the way that was easiest for me, which makes a lot of sense. It's what I've done. But just that, even that piece of information has given me so much peace because I've basically been in pause for a couple of months now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the most relaxed I've ever felt in my life. I feel very trusting. I feel very okay about the way things are unfolding. I'm not putting all this pressure on myself to be something I can't be. One of the other parts for me is that, yes, I have a lot of wisdom to share, but I can't just go around talking to everybody about it. Somebody has to ask me.
Oh.
Yeah. So you don't just go around saying stuff to people. Although one of my favorite things to do in the world is just to acknowledge things about people and make them smile. That's one of my favorite things to do. You know, like the person at the grocery line or whatever. That's fun. But so there's also your lines, which are conscious and unconscious. So there's 6 lines. Everybody has 2 of them. So my conscious line is curiosity, and I've always been super curious, but that wasn't always a good thing for me. And then my unconscious is a martyr, which is totally me, totally how I've been, giving everything up for other people, to care for other people, in a way that wasn't very balanced. Wow. So there's so many, there's types, there's strategies, there's so many different details, but when I read the book the first time, it felt like my whole body had been seen, which I've never had happen when I read a book before. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess I got to get in there. So I've been studying it for a few months, but I don't know that I can regurgitate it very well out loud. I think it's really, really fascinating way. I also, I really like, you know, and am interested in astrology, but have never been able to digest it in the way that it's been taught. And I think that I might be able to understand it through this. So I'm excited about that, because I do with sound healing in the training that I did. It's called Acutonics is the name of the organization, but we use planetary frequencies with tuning forks and gongs and all that kind of stuff. And so I have more of a felt sense than a knowledge sense about those things, which is also pretty true for me. So the knowledge comes after what I feel.
Yeah, that's me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we don't always have words until we have words, which you often say too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Or my guide goes, no, it's over there. So what Jessica said was she felt instant tears. She's feeling loved and cared for a moment, really needed that. Okay, good. So Excellent. What happened, Jessica, is you were out of your body, if that makes any sense. You were completely out of your body and you were doing a couple things I'm not going to say, but I'd be happy to tell you later because it's personal. And so that was what that was. But if you stay on here, everybody, we're going to do some healing. Sometimes people come on and then they have to go and then they come back and do the listening to the end where we do healing and stuff. I know that's what I do. I go to somebody, see what's what, and then I come back later in my own time. So thank you guys for coming on. And if you could share it out, because it's going to be interesting to see to listen. And there's Eileen, talk about astrology there. She's a good astrologer.
Awesome.
Remind everybody, because you and I watched the same thing. We were watching Pam. What's Pam, the astrologer?
Pam Gregory, isn't it?
Yes, and she
And
was interviewing those people. That was about human design. What were
it
those?
was, well, so Richard Rudd and Pam Gregory had a conversation just after the first of the year, which was really awesome. And I think helpful, can give helpful perspective to people, considering there's a lot going on and there's a lot of noise and a lot of distraction, I will say. And so I felt really uplifted by their conversation. So he, excuse me, he has a system called Gene Keys, like your genes, Gene, and it is based on the I Ching and human design and a couple of things that I can't remember right now. But his is more in human design. That's true too. A lot about contemplation. So you sit with things and then you see what the wisdom is that comes back to you once you get this information. And so he has worked. He also got it downloaded, and then he's proceeded to. So they have their own sort of map, if you will, like in human design, it's a body graph. This is they call them pathways. So you have your first pathway they call the golden path. Excuse me. Let me have a sip of water.
There are interesting ways to understand oneself because mine all came in. That's what Art of Your Energy is.
So interesting. Yeah. And so that's the way, I think also that is the way through everything. That's what I've understood. And I'm sure that, everybody says this, but if you can really know yourself, which I don't think a lot of us actually do, when I talk to people about knowing yourself and loving yourself and healing yourself, they say, I'm a good person. And I mean, great. Yes, you're a good person, but that doesn't mean that you know yourself. Most of us are walking around with a bunch of programs and patterns and lifetimes and luggage and stuff that are making our life what it is. And it's not at all who we are. It is definitely circumstances that we wanted to go through and learn from, but our wounds are not who we are. And we can become friends with them. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's treasure on the other side of the wound if you can just accept that it's part of who you are in a not in a bad way, but it's so soothing when you know yourself. You kind of can't help but love yourself.
Yeah,
you have so much compassion for what you've been through, what you've created, and once you know yourself or start to know yourself, it's like for me, it's an unquenchable thirst, but I am a learner. That's part of who I am. I can't stop learning. It's just so yummy. But we're amazing. Like even your body, these bodies are made so amazing. If you start to look at what everything is going on while you're just walking around the world, it's insane. And then, as we get older, things change and don't work quite the same way, but that's when we get to really care for ourselves, instead of, for example, I've always had pimples.
Okay.
They never went away. It goes away after you're a teenager. It never went away from me. But instead of like looking at my face and being like, oh, that's not really what I want to see or whatever, I do nice things for my skin. Mm-hmm. And then it makes me feel happy, instead of being like, oh, I don't like the way that looks, or I don't like the way that sags, or I don't like the way this blah, blah, blah. So how I feed myself is different. And even looking at those, I think a lot about that, where we, how we reward ourselves or celebrate things. Yeah. When you break that stuff down, that's not what's happening, because usually when I'm going to reward myself by drinking a bottle of wine and having too much chocolate, and then I'm going to wake up the next day and feel like crap for a week. So that doesn't seem like celebration, really. What is celebration? Is it adding to or taking away from your essence? And if you feed your essence and you start to be in tune with that, then you become in tune with the essence of everything. And it's so, so delicious.
Absolutely. If you guys look at movies which is what only thing I watch. When people get stressed out, the first thing they grab is what? A,
Yeah.
in a movie, usually an alcoholic drink.
Hmm.
Smoke. They show their upset in those ways
Yeah.
that make people think maybe they're getting something from it, which of course
Yeah.
they're not.
I mean, and also, we all do the things we do because we needed to do them when we did them. Like I look back on parts of my life and the other side of it, and while I was living it, I was really kind of judgmental of how I was living my life because I wasn't doing a great job at it.
Mhm.
But when I went back and looked at what had happened before that, and then the scale of that, and I was like, oh, actually, I don't think that was so bad for what you went through, the other side of that. Like, let's just give yourself some credit. That was hard. You didn't have resources. You were doing the best you could. Yeah, maybe you wanted to escape. That's okay. We just have to recognize that we're okay now.
That was a lot of years of Hostess products for me.
Mm.
Seriously, that's what I ate. Tom would say, "Why do you grab a Twinkie? That is low rent. Why don't you go buy yourself something that's actually good?" And I said, "Twinkies and ding dongs and ho-hos are friendly. I'm gonna have one." So Nick is saying that I learned a lot about myself through my cancer journey. Absolutely,
Oh, for sure.
that is one of those big spots. It's like getting sick, losing a parent, which
Hmm.
is often the thing, becoming divorced, getting finding out about yourself, something that you all of a sudden did, and it's a big, I don't know. Sometimes those are times that we all kind of wake up to admire ourselves in the mirror instead of saying, "Well, I wonder what that is." And I think a lot of us have done in just the last little bit, maybe lost weight or began to eat better. Or I've never taken such good care of myself as I am now, and in the last like 6 months or so. And even before that, I really was too. But you know,
Hmm.
haven't had a boho and I can't even remember. But um, yeah. So I had something I was going to say, and I cannot remember. So right now, if you are still on there, Miss Jessica, can you tell me how you're feeling now? Jessica being our guinea pig, because I want to send you something, Jessica. And so what it is it's a set of codes, and I'd like you to see. I'm not going to tell you if you can trust. In a way, I'd never send you anything but some good. If you could do that, I'd like you to try it out if you wouldn't mind. If you wouldn't mind. So there really has been so much change in 2025, and today's only what? I don't even know what day it is. 17th?
Yep, it's the 17th. Yeah.
It came in like crazy,
Yeah.
and I cannot believe what all went down in 2025. I knew there was going to be a big stir up because, they sent us all kinds of crap to distract. In fact, I was just thinking a minute ago, I was looking outside. It was the most beautiful day today. It's 40
Mhm.
degrees. It snowed like crazy. It would snow everywhere, and it snowed a long time yesterday. It was gorgeous. And then it got to be 40, and it was gorgeous outside. And Tom was like, "Oh, you got to go outside. It smells so good, feels so good." Oh, yeah. Chems everywhere, chemtrails everywhere. And now it's nice and gray in just,
Mhm.
I'd say, probably 35 minutes.
Mhm.
Because right now we're going to get the deep freeze. The East Coast is in the deep freeze. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you guys, you can't fall for this stuff anymore. Where did those drones go? Did those drones come to your house instead of the East Coast? Where are they now? I want to know. Where did they get these drones? Come on now. There's Kelly. Kelly gave a Reiki class for pets. I couldn't do it last night, Kelly. I was exhausted. So that's why I didn't come. But if you guys want to do pet Reiki, get with Kelly. She's going to do that.
Nice.
So Jessica says a little calmer. Okay, so could you please say to yourself, "I feel calm"? And then could you please write down that it's okay for me to do this while Beth is going to teach you teach everybody a lot of good stuff. And I'm just going to send you something if you say that's okay.
What?
So what have you noticed about this year that has been so surprising? What did you notice?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, what has been surprising? I think how calm I feel is surprising. And also like how easy it is to read something and be like, what the actual, you know what? And then go, nope, because it feels like the Truman Show. You're familiar with that movie? So it feels like we've been living in the Truman Show, the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. And so they're going to keep flinging stuff at us, and there may be intention behind those things that they're flinging. That might be true, but I know that I'm a powerful being. And I know that I have held things in my reality for a long time that I didn't want. I'm super strong. We're all super strong.
Yeah.
And where we put our intention and our focus, not in like a rose colored glasses kind of thing. This is serious. Like what you vote for counts. So if you want to live in a different world, then you have to bring that mindset, and you have to do whatever you can to get in that state of being, and also to be part of whatever it feels like. Community, for me, community means more earth and land and water and things like that right now. And I love serving um, nature in that way. Of course, they just tell me what to do and I do it, or they tell me what to do and I go to sleep and then we do it.
Right.
But
Okay.
it's being part of the big picture, like that interview with Pam Gregory and Richard Rudd. Understanding the big picture and how you fit in it is so very valuable, and it brings calm, because everything that we've been tied to is frayed,
Mhm.
good, bad, indifferent. It's frayed. And also with the expansion, like that was one of the things we were talking about earlier, is the art of your energy has been so helpful to me, because it gives me a way to be in the world in a very expanded state. That's not the easiest thing if you don't know how to do that. If you're just floating around and you don't know yourself and you don't have yourself grounded in a reality that actually works for you or makes sense, I do not envy that situation, because it's really hard, especially if you're a sensitive person, if you're prone to kind of anxiety or PTSD. I mean, you could be off the deep end all the time. It's exhausting. You have to really know how to run your energy and what to be tied to. And it starts with, and I also do my right every morning, gratitude and then blessings. I do a page of gratitudes. I do a page of may all beings. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings, whatever it is that's on my mind, that's worried me, or that I picked up on the radar, so that I can bless it instead of be part of that energy that does not work for me. Those are the kinds of things that help me.
That is so good. What they were just telling me, my guides were telling me last night, is they're saying, uh, because what you were saying there is, is imagine everybody, there's a lot of people on here that can actually do this. Imagine you can look out and see somebody in their energy, and they've got this old stuff hanging on them, and they
Mhm,
create more of it every day. And
mhm.
it looks like you're holding the world above your shoulders. So basically, what my guide said the other day is, can you just shrug there, Atlas? Because what I found was I was really overly concerned about groups. And I caught myself doing that. And if
Mhm,
you and if you do send your energy to different parts of the world, do this and that and the other thing, you may find yourself stuck somewhere.
mhm.
Yeah. And so Geneva says, so much has changed and shifted. It's exhausting to either even contemplate talking about it. It feels like something I'll write about later in life. So Geneva went through all of that weather in, was your state North Carolina? I can't remember.
Oh,
So she went through that flooding. So we just want to send Geneva a bunch of love.
yeah.
So um what was I saying? So if you are that person who was more like what Beth was saying, which was holding on to stuff, right? Over
Yeah.
and over again. That's a whole different thing, right? South Carolina, there she was, South Carolina. Yeah, well, just know we thought about you an awful lot, Geneva. I sure did. You and your family. Want to send Geneva a bunch of love, everybody.
Yeah.
So my favorite person to send stuff to on on this podcast, Jessica. Tell me how you're feeling because I've been working on her. I slung it to you. Oh, there's Jana. So you know what's cool is Todd is back. Yay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw that.
Geneva says we finally got into an Airbnb 4 days ago, so things are looking up. Yes, yes. 'Cause I know some
Congratulations.
people in that situation freezing their buns off while the stuff grinds pretty slow.
Yeah.
It grinds. So Jessica, can you please tell me how you're feeling at this moment? I'm just looking around for anything different than what you were feeling earlier. So, what Beth was saying, to paraphrase it, she was saying, if you have something to do every morning to get up, which is, I'm so grateful for a bunch of stuff, right? I
Yep.
do that too. And then to send to all beings, that is beautiful because what Spirit was trying to remind me yesterday was don't forget, you can just turn people over to us. I can't tell you how many people I turned their butts over to Spirit yesterday. Yeah, because of
Well, yeah. Also, law of one, which we do in your classes, which is something that I love so much. But the power, I've been reminded a lot through my writing and with different beings that I talk to that tell me the power of a blessing is so big. And also it's a way to, as opposed to being worried or concerned or afraid, you're shifting that energy and you're using it, because the hardest part sometimes about the things we see in the world is we feel like there's not a damn thing we can do about it, which is not true. Even I haven't been on the news that much, but I did see some beautiful things on Facebook about people, a whole bunch of people from South Africa, people from Mexico, people from all over the different, that were going to LA to help with the fires. That's insanely amazing. All the way from South Africa and Mexico, all the way up there to help. And in North Carolina, when they were stuck after what was that, Milton, or was that Helene? One of the hurricanes, when it ended up, do you remember that? They ended up flooded and the road was out and nobody could get there. They were totally cut off. And then some people
yes.
who were like engineers, like retired guys or whatever. I'm not saying this story very well. I'm very bad at telling stories with facts. Anyway, some amazing people, they knew how to do it. They fixed the road. Like, they were saying it was going to be a year before they were going to get their road back and all this stuff. And these guys just went to town and made it happen. So the
Sure.
power of the people, the power of the law of one, the power of your belief, the power of the support you send out to the people. Sometimes when I get frustrated about something going on in the world and it's going really badly, I don't want that energy to go there. And so I just say, I send blessings to the people that know how to fix it and get them to the people that need to know that and do it fast. We have the power to do that, and not being all entangled in it can be a bonus in some ways because you have more energy to direct to that. Does that make any sense?
It does. It does. We talked about that the other day, which was making sure that when you are praying, that you're
Yeah.
praying clear, right? You're praying clear, and you're just simply saying, unemployed angels, I am asking you, please, to go where you're needed in California. And I'm asking most humbly to find those folks that need the most help. And I'm asking for this and that. Instead of saying what I said in class was, Dear God, I'm so afraid of corvids. I think they're going to swoop me. Those crows
Right.
get
Yeah.
me. Well, I was just trying to make a difference between praying out of fear, which happens when you're fearful. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was in the situation. It'd probably come out in a mess. But I know that Archangel Michael has me. I know that my guide, Master Jesus, has me. And sometimes all you can say is their name. So
Yeah.
say their name with the love in your heart. Whatever comes out is going to be absolutely right. And absolutely what I think is going to happen, and Barb, I want to say something to Barb too in a second, is
Sure.
that's what I think is going to happen in 2025 is people that we relied on, like groups of people, are not going to be what we rely on. And what we rely on are going to be regular folks.
Yep.
going to make the big difference
Yeah.
because all those other yahoos are investigating their belly button or worse, have their head up their root chakra sometimes and just cannot get it out. Not going to say anybody's name, you know what I'm saying? But um, yeah. So Barb, I wanted to know, Miss Barb, did you see that anomaly on the side of my neighbor's house? It looked just like the anomaly that was there when your brother was in the hospital. Well, there's Sammy. Hi, Sammy. So I do believe that us regular everyday people are going to help in any way we possibly can when these big things happen because big things are going to happen. We have to
Yeah.
hold our own, do we not? So
Yeah.
can you actually say, everybody, can you say, and I said everybody in the class, I said, hey, bring something that you want out of this class. And so my thing was, can I hold my energy nice and smooth no matter what? No
Hmm.
matter what. Can I do that? Because we just went from, we had the possibility to go to the tipping point of the 50-50, right? We were 50-50 in those who have woken up to something, and those who still can't see what's going on exactly. So I believe we hit that. And I believe a lot of us went from 5 to 7 to beyond.
Hmm.
People in here definitely did that. Okay. And so that was graduation, what I was talking about the other day. People didn't know what I was talking about with graduation, but that did happen. So what I look around for is, there's Galadriel. What I look around for is how are people in my life doing? And, Tom says stuff all the time that he's trying to make me laugh or he's just riffing. And we were driving the other day and he's changing lanes. I said this in class. I'm going to tell everybody because it's too funny. I keep thinking about it. He goes, he's going, I'm going from 5D to 5-7 or to 70 bitches. And he's changing. I mean, to have him say that is just so odd. He said something else too. And he said it to me today. He reminded me of something that's just so odd for somebody to say. He's just happy. I see people happy. I see people happy. So I'm hoping that people here right now that have some big stuff, because there are people, I know the big stuff that some of you guys have. I'm hoping that you can have the big stuff and still hold your energy. That's totally possible. Because what you're doing, if you can't, is you're talking yourself out of it. You're saying old things. You're doing the thing that Beth described. Okay. And if you start your day out with the thankfulness, if you turn stuff over to spirit like a bunch, there's so many ways to get up out, Can I say that? No, I can't. Okay. My guide's censoring me.
Good job. Good job. Good job asking.
Oh my Lord. So can you say how you're feeling? Jessica, she took a big breath, but I want to know how you're feeling. And I want to know for how long you can hold that. If you wouldn't mind. Just lovingly asking. So Beth, we have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
She says, I really want to be able to do that. I used to be able to. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we have something really big happen, and then things we could do before we can't do it again. It was like what Nick was saying, cancer journey, where you learn about yourself. And maybe at those times we could not get up for a while.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, Jessica, I believe in you and I think you're going to be able to do that. So I'd like you to, it's not holding very long. Okay, so let me ask. Okay, so Jessica was at that number that I'm going to keep to myself. Where is she now? Okay, I'm telling you, you went down 10 points. That's where you want to go. You want to go down, not up in this point, because this is a trauma response. So you're actually doing better now than you were. I would like to put that out, that you look around for some positives today, okay? And then remind me in a couple days and say, hey, what about that number again? And I'll send you that stuff. Because when we're used to not feeling good, we go back to feeling that way. When we actually feel better, we can't figure out we're feeling better. This happens to people all the time. I'll say, you feeling better? Because I can tell you're feeling better. No. Well, I can prove that you're feeling, but maybe I feel a little better.
May I offer?
Do that. Yeah, absolutely. Do it, do it, do it.
So, a lot of our issues are related to separation.
Mhm.
And so, if you, well, I assume if you're on this, listening to this, then you believe that these things are your guardian angels and your high self. So, when I do sound healing meditations, they guide people through just to make sure that they're in good hands. But I have had times where, you're just having your day and all of a sudden you're really funky and it freaks you out, or it triggers you, or both. But usually I'm driving by myself, I put my hand out and I ask my guardian angel to take my hand, and immediately I'm grounded and centered. So if you ask for your guardian angel and your high self to take each of your hands, or to snuggle you, or to put, sometimes I ask them to, it's like those weighted blankets, kind of put a blanket that feels so good and cozy, that's just all love and compassion, so that you're completely cozied in love and compassion, so that you can be restful while you're healing or while you're transforming, and not think that there's something wrong with you, which is hard when you've had a lot of triggers that way. But it works. And then it takes you out of the judgment of yourself for whatever you're in, so that you can allow that softness.
Beautiful. Yep, beautiful. Okay, so let's do that. Are you cool with that? We'll just do a couple minutes of
Yeah,
clearing.
yeah.
So if everybody wants to close your eyes and assume the position, close your
Assume
eyes
the
and
position.
take your hands and feet apart and let Mr. Testa snuggle you for a minute. So whatever you want to do, Beth, I'm going to send them the cards. The cards are 59, 60, and 61. Walk the middle path. It's a balance card. Those who chose to walk the pathway of peace have decided to focus on their own growth and health. The chaos outside doesn't concern you. As the moon pulls at your emotions, you choose an easier way and remember to ground and release. Stay on the middle path. That's what that looks like. I'm going to send that out to everybody. So I'm just going to see everybody come into the sun disk. Keep your eyes closed, everybody. Your sun disk is a nice, smooth, beautiful rose quartz. Please just stand on that as we call in your guides, guardians, and teams of light, your highest self, your ancestors. We call all parts of you, your aspects, your little self. Calling in the golden columns of light, the stargate, the violet flame, and the blue light column. Beautiful. Next one, number 60, which is speed up. You want to speed up to get over the hump. It's not meaning you're going to speed. You actually want this card. Balance to adjust your frequency. Has life felt faster and precarious, like balancing on a skateboard that's placed upon a rolling ball? Let the galactic solar dragons and the angels help you to make this fun and easy. So hug your dragon. Thank your angel. Take that in. And number 61, last one, chaos. Pull back into your own power. This is dragon DNA. There's no need to invite yourself to the chaos party. Here it goes. There's a lot more to that, but I want Beth to say first. Okay, go ahead, Beth, and do whatever you want to do.
Oh, I'm just clearing while you're, so I'm doing, this is called the checklist chart on my, with the spiritual response technique. It's the past lives and then healing modalities. But, so we were clearing alpha to omega. That's how big we're clearing today. Alpha to omega. That means from the beginning, through your whole system. It's big clearing. And then spiritual programs, we're clearing those. A lot of times we have programs running, they aren't, physical or mental or emotional, but they are spiritual programs, and they can be harder to recognize. So we're clearing those right now. So also, I'm excited. I'm going to add this in because I think it's going to be a cool thing. The body graph on the quantum human design, I think for different things, we'll be able to specifically code to certain gates and certain centers, kind of like you do on certain bodies. But that whole thing where you were talking about going back 14 lifetimes, 14 generations, when you start connecting it, do you do that every day now? Do you add that in? The 14 generations?
On myself?
Yeah.
Oh, I
So,
know what you're talking about. No, only when it comes up.
oh,
You're talking about your ancestors.
yeah.
So what you can do with the coding now that you couldn't do. So let me just see if I can say that. I don't know how many coders we have on there. Can we tell them that? No, not exactly. That's a thing I'm still working with. So that would be generational stuff, and I doesn't make sense to put it out there right now, but I do
That's
do.
fine.
Yeah.
So I guess what feels pertinent in this moment is that a lot of people have dropped timelines and the directions feel different, and even the gridding is shifting. We're how do I say this? We're coming into a more harmonious relating to everything that we don't have to figure out so hard, if that makes any sense. And so we have access from our point to everything. And
Mhm.
so if you open yourself up, because we're being affected by it all way more than we were, whether we're aware that we are or not, all those points in time, all those timelines, all the other people that we live on this planet with, and the people who were still here but not alive, and our own generational, and then soul family and the galaxy, all that stuff, where we have access to all those things. We need to know the safe way to be grounded in that, but also just I don't know, I think about it like we all have our own, if you think about having a sacred healing chamber. So like when I've done inner child work for myself, I just take part of me and I'm with that part of me, that child, and we do whatever we need to do, even though I'm still having my day. So you can have access to these things that are affecting you without it messing you up so bad, and also have really beautiful reunification and wholeness.
Yes.
Um, One of the things that I started doing that was helpful is that if you've got something that comes up over and over and over again, I like to imagine being around a fire because that feels very helpful. But I asked for all the parts of me that had that theme or those wounds to show up, and then we're all in a big circle together. And then any one of us who needs to say something can say it, but then we all walk into the fire together when we're ready. We merge, and then we decide what we want to be together on the other side of it. It was so, so powerful and beautiful.
That's huge. Yes. Yes.
So there's lots of shortcuts, and the minute, for me, I know the minute that it feels too hard, that I'm not doing it right, so to speak.
Mhm.
And so I just need to step back and say, what's the easiest way? What's the easiest way? There's always an easiest way, and it's not the wrong way, even though I thought it was for a long time. I thought if you didn't do it hard, you wouldn't learn anything. That is not accurate.
That's right.
So it's good to take a pause back, like we were talking about in the beginning. Take a pause back and see what your assumptions are telling you, and how does that feel to you? Like, does that feel like a right thing, or does that feel like a bullshit thing?
Mhm.
Because we don't need to dissect everything anymore. We just need to show up and ask and listen, and then do whatever we're supposed to do, which sounds kind of vague and basic, but it's true. Um, we are we're being given so much information. There's so many beings, like even out in your yard, wherever you live, or in nature, that want to talk to you and have things that can help you. It just is a matter of being part of the law of one.
It is like the tree at my
Mm-hmm.
house. So
Mm-hmm.
where I sit in my spot in the living room, which is what where I go to when I get up in the morning, I sit there. I have a tree directly out that window, and that tree has been wanting to communicate with me for over a year. And finally, I went, "Hey, wait a minute!" And I have been communicating with that tree and doing some really great work with the tree. So if you guys have a special tree, that is really, really, really important. And it's important to trust yourself, because what is going to save you is you. You can listen to what other people do and do what other people do, but find your own way
Yeah.
to save yourself. right?
Yeah.
Figure yourself out. Because if you do, you'll find you're pretty interesting.
Super interesting. So interesting and beautiful. Such beautiful souls. Um, and even if, like, I'm thinking of a particular experience in my life, but even if you're in a relationship and you've been hurt, um, and you think that that person needs to do something to make it better for you, that's total bullshit. I mean, yes, they need to make amends for whatever they did, but they can't make it better for you. I learned that the hard way. Um, but it was the minute that I started saying to myself, I know you're tired. I know that hurts. I know this is hard. I almost fell on the ground. I just started bawling. The recognition, the acknowledgement of saying how I felt to myself. Nobody could do that for me. Only I could do that for me. Yeah. So we can heal ourselves. And yes, we have great helpers and tools that are available to us. And the other thing about quantum human design is that we're supposed to follow what feels good. That's not how we've been programmed.
Awesome. So that means I don't have to go to yoga.
Correct. You might like Qigong though. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
like that. Yeah.
I mean, you have to find your thing, right? What makes your body happy and what makes you happy. It can't just be a thing that you do. Because if you just do it because it's a thing you're supposed to do, you're not going to get much benefit out of it, right? It doesn't make your body sing. It doesn't make you happy.
So you want to keep doing it. That's the key, is find something that you like to do. Um, and the key to resting and relaxing and talking to oneself is you might have to go like this. You might have to sit and be quiet for a while. Because
Absolutely.
what I have noticed when I have the chance to look on social media, or when I have the chance to have the luxury of seeing a human in front of me, which isn't as often as I would like, now I can, but I used to couldn't. Um, I would just say, "Are you resting?" And most people will say, "No, I did not." What you want to think about, you guys, everybody, is that the energy of time is way different right now, and it can be stretchable if you want it to be. And if you stretch out some time and go have 15-minute resty, or you do make space for your meditation or your workout or something, you're going to be a much happier camper. And sometimes people just need to be quiet for a little bit. So those times that I take off and not do anything, those are times that I learn the most.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
when
the
you
times that everybody learns the most. You know, there's stories of all kinds of people, and they just went off in the wilderness, or they went to some cabin and they didn't talk to anybody for 2 months, and they figured out how the world works, or some amazing thing. But yeah, it's because you stop talking. Even listening. It's listening. Like, even when we're curious, when we're thirsty for knowledge, our tendency is, like, say you're working with an archangel. If you're working with an archangel and you're like, tell me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do, what do I do about this, what do I do about that, what do I do about this, instead of like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, I would love to have a relationship with you, I'm so grateful for your presence, please
yeah.
tell me anything you'd like to share, or what would you like me to do. It's a relationship. It's not a give me, or I need, or fix me, or there's something wrong with me, because there isn't.
Yeah, I remember one of my guides said, "That's enough." When I ask him one too many things, they want, and just ask, "May I feel you? May I feel you?" And if it doesn't feel right, that might not be them. So then I would let you go back to source in peace and ease, because I said so. It's my fault, right? You heard it. That's all it is. So you just can't be, worried about that lower energy right now, because there is some passing through.
For sure.
But I tell you, the lowest energy could possibly be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally true. And you can tell, if you know yourself, you have tells. Like, when you're not okay, there's certain things you'll do, say, there's things, the ways you talk to yourself, the
Yeah,
choices that you make, they're all we get signs and signals all the time. We just don't pay any attention.
absolutely. So when you start noticing what's around you, the birds are going to talk to you. The leaves, if you had a leaf. I noticed that I have a tree in my yard now. It
Hmm.
hasn't lost its leaves, hasn't
Oh,
let hasn't let go. And I'm
interesting.
thinking, wow, because there's people that aren't letting go exactly.
Right.
Why are you not letting go, tree? And the tree says, "It's not my time to let go." Everybody different times. I personally let go in the spring, and then Tom and I go riffing back and forth, and Tom goes, yeah, right when you don't need leaves to drop, because really it is the last tree to drop. And I notice that around the neighborhood it's a maple. Other
Yep.
maples don't let go.
Mhm.
But if you guys are a person that have not let go, like I'm still mad at somebody for a long time ago, I mean that one
Mhm.
time I did this, when you got to get to that forgiveness place
Yeah.
and move the heck on. Move on, because the more that you're thinking about that thing that causes you problems, okay, that problem is right there. You're still holding on to it.
Yeah.
You're still holding on to it. So the last thing I want to do, I want to just test what we did. Oh, can I just sling a couple codes, everybody?
Of
I'm
course.
sure y'all opened your eyes because we kind of went on. But for right now, I'm going to send you some codes. So if anybody's still with us, just please close your eyes just for a second. I'm going to send you 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Those are those I listen ones, because you're not. So listening kind of went, listening just went right out the door. I could tell you a story, but I'm not going to. But listening has gone out the door. So let's just hope everybody can listen a little bit more now that we threw those codes out. And so just say out loud, I call myself back. Body, mind, spirit, emotions. Going to give you that one to get back in the body. Woo, 120. Okay, so Beth, where can people find you?
My website, blossoming like a flower blossoms, blossomingdreams.com. That's where they can find me. I'm on Facebook too, but not a lot.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I plan to stay on Facebook a little bit. I know people are decamping all over the place, but Facebook is easy for me, you know?
it is a easy thing, that's for sure. Yeah. I just don't most of my stuff I record and put on YouTube, and then I have access to it through my, I've got like tools people can use when they're stressed, or sound healing meditations, or recorded a whole series about being good to you, about body, mind, spirit, and motion, how I went through a journey and what things I did. That was really cool. Anyway,
So how do they find that though? Is that Blossoming Dreams on YouTube?
it is not. It's under Elizabeth Hyer, but if you go to Blossoming Dreams, you can get to it from there, because that's easy. That's easy. Then you
Okay.
don't have to search around for anything. Yeah.
Elizabeth Hyer, Hyer, coming to
Yep.
the Pacific Northwest near you. So if you see her at some of those locations, such as, what are the locations?
Actually, the new location I don't know the name of yet, because they just named it. I'm joining. Well, I'm going to be able to do sound healing meditation at a new healing and meditation center that is right in Olympia.
Oh, awesome. So catch
But all
up with
that stuff
her.
will be, yeah, all that stuff is going to be put up on for events and things like that will be up there. I've just been, like I said, I've been in a pause, so things will be going up on my website, and then people can find it there.
And you're with the MeWe people,
I have
right?
done MeWe stuff. Yeah. I'm not committed to anything yet this year, because I'm shopping around and seeing what's out there. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up out there. So many people doing some really great events. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yes, I'm sure it will all become clear sometime soon, but it's not at the moment.
Yeah, clear as mud. Clear as mud. Okay, well, that's all right. Okay, everybody. Well, God bless you, and thank you all for tuning in. And we'll be back. My next person is two people so far. Irma K, Astrology in
Mhm.
March on the 12th about Yamaya. You don't want to miss that. We're going to have Charlie about rocks. He's a rock and mineral expert from Tacoma that you won't want to miss. And that is sometime in February. So I don't know about February yet. I'm having a slight little break. So this beauty was my last one this month, I think, unless somebody comes in. So everybody, I hope you have a really, really awesome weekend. And we'll see ya. Thanks, Beth, my friend.
Thank you.
God bless you. Nighty night, everybody.
Bye.